Good evening, people. My name is Akash Raichu, and I am recording this video to provide information regarding the XAT exam, the strategy to clear the exam, the overall cutoffs, the evolution of XAT since 2010 maybe. I'm just including data since 2010, the important topics, the strategies, the D-Day strategy, the overall exam pattern, and everything that might come to your mind at this stage, and that might help you boost your preparation as well as increase your chances towards getting a call letter from the top colleges that accept XAT as the entrance exam score, XAT scores as the valid scores. To start with 20 odd days remaining for the exam, let me clearly tell you that it is very much possible to clear the exam. Only discipline and uh, systematic commitment from your end is required, and it is very clear to hit a 95-96 percentile score and get calls from the respective colleges, XLRI, XIMB, IMT Ghaziabad, to name a few. In this video, this video would be divided into 5 sections: the history of XAT, the exam taking strategies, the important topics or what you call as chapters, the time management, as well as the overall plan as a test taker on the D-Day. These are the 5 sections of this video. Just to give a brief filler before starting the core discussions, there are 3 buckets of students now. First bucket of students comprise of those students whose CAT examinations have gone very well. They are really happy, and instead of preparing more for XAT, they are directly into the GDPI mode because they are confident, 100% sure that they will be getting a 95-97 percentile score and getting getting calls from top colleges, IIMs, MDI, SPGen, IMT. These are the good colleges. And I missed out a few, but this is just to highlight. The another bucket of students are those who feel that their CAT did not turn out to be successful, and therefore there is no point preparing for XAT. So let's try next year. The third and final category of students are those whose CAT was good. I would not call, they themselves would not call it as an exceptional attempt, but it was good, where they can get a 90, 93, 94 percentile score and still get calls from good D schools. This bucket of candidates can be further bifurcated into 2 categories of students. First, who know that they have put 1 year of hard work, effort and commitment, and they have to get into good D school now, and therefore a certain sprint from now on would help them clear XAT, and if they do not get calls from their CAT scores, they'll definitely get calls from a good XAT score. And the second bifurcation of students are those who would be a little lazy and lackadaisical right now, given the fact that New Year's, Christmas, 31st, every event is piled up, and therefore their preparation might slide down a bit. So the first category of students who want to sprint towards the finish line and clear the race, they have to clearly understand that XAT is the only exam that has the least competition, given all this analysis that I have talked about. It has the least competition, and therefore when the competition is less, you need to work more hard. Yes, I might sound a bit weird, but you need to work more hard, given the fact that every person in the competition is sure to get, finish the race, and therefore your effort might not be complete on a relative scale, and therefore you need to sprint your efforts with steroids of hard work and dedication. Lastly, these 20 days are definitely 100% enough to get a good score in XAT, a 95 percentile. I am making this statement with a few assumptions. The assumptions are: number one, you will provide dedicated and systematic effort in these 20 days. And number two, you're not waking up right now. Friends, if you're waking up right now, please try XAT 2018. 2017 is not for you. Okay. I have a few analysis written down. It's just not actually analysis. It's a few, the paper pattern and the number of questions from each sections in the XAT paper. As everyone may know, XAT is a 3-sectioned paper. Just like CAT, the sections vary. However, I put it as a 6-section paper. 6 section being, the first section being hardcore quants and data interpretation, which is compressed into one section known as quantitative ability. The second section being reading comprehension and your verbal ability skills, being compressed into another section known as verbal ability. And the third section, decision making and logical reasoning, which is again compressed into another section known as decision making. The name is decision making because but it comprises both the topics. So let's start. In 2012, the verbal ability section, comprising of both verbal ability as well as RC, comprised of 32 questions. Decision making and logical reasoning comprised of 25 questions, and quants comprised of 28 questions. A total of 85 questions, constituting a 100-mark paper. 100 mark, the reason being, XAT experimented on differential marking like IFT in 2012. The differential markings being 1, 1.5 and 2. 1/4 of the marks allotted to any question was negative marking, the range of negative marking, and mark requirement for a call from the top colleges, depending upon your program, was 33 to 38 marks. In XAT 2013 and after XAT 2012, there was no differential marking. The number of questions and number of marks were equal, meaning every question had an equal weightage of a mark each. The negative marking was again 1/4 of the total marks allotted to that particular question. Verbal ability 30 questions, decision making 25 questions, quantitative ability 36 questions, and the mark requirement was 36 to 48. Yeah, just before I forget, unlike CAT and SNAP, XAT is like GMAT and NMAT. That means it has 5 answer choices for any question. XAT 2014 had 28, 24 and 31 questions respectively, a total of 83 questions, and the mark requirement for a call from top B schools was 28 to 32. In 2015, 28, 23, 33, that is 84 questions, mark requirement again 27 to 31. From XAT 2016, the XLR, the paper setting authorities, experimented on new thing. The overall questions were 26, 23, 29, total 78 questions, 78 marks. Mark requirement was 39 to 33, 29 to 33 for a call. 1/4 negative marking for penalty, 1/4 penalty for the negative markings. XAT introduced a concept of penalty markings. Now, what is this penalty markings? Unlike other examinations where leave apart NMAT and GMAT, in SNAP IIFT, CAT, TISNET, Maharashtra CET, and all XYZ examinations, they allow, they shower the student with the flexibility of attempting only what they know. XAT changed its paper pattern, wherein a student was allowed to leave only 13 questions out of the total 78. Beyond 13 questions, every question would be penalized at the rate of 0.05 mark per question. That means last year there were 78 questions. A student attempts 50 questions. He leaves 28. The first 13 are not penalized. And the rest 15 are penalized at 0.05 per question. Okay? Comes to around 0.75. The total, it would be reduced from your total score. So I don't think that's a reason to worry. 0.05 mark per unattempted question, that also after a buffer of 13 questions, is not something that we should tax our brains with. It's completely irrelevant and stupid for us to waste time on that board as of now. You can see that unlike CAT and other exams where the cutoff is around 70% of the total marks of the paper, okay, for a good 98-99 percentile, in XAT, a 35 to 40% of the entire marks on the paper would easily fetch you around 95-96 percentile, or maybe 97 percentile, depending on the number of applicants, the difficulty of the paper, and XYZ various factors. So XAT is an exam that has sectional cutoff. So historically it has been seen that the sectional cutoff is in the range of 8 to 9 marks per section. That means even if you get 9 marks per section in the 3 sections, you're getting a total score of 27, and another 5-6 marks with 1 mark penalty marking removed, you get a 4-5, and you're landing at 31 marks, 31 plus marks, or even 30 plus marks. That's a decent 91-92 percentile. Just clearing the sectional cutoff and attempting another 5-7 questions with 100% accuracy, definitely that's a point. And or anything, if you attempt 12 questions each with a 90% accuracy, that's equivalent. Okay, but I'd rather prefer that a student attempts 10 questions, he gets all the 10 right. Okay, 1 or 2 you may get wrong, that's a minor thing. But apart from that, there's no funny business of trying and testing. What I say, you cannot have a feel that the answer will be 8.5. That does not happen. No? You either know the answer or you don't. In RC, maybe what you feel is not the correct answer, so maybe 1 or 2 questions can go wrong, and same is in decision making. But in maths and data interpretation, you do not have that liberty to give way to your feelings more than your knowledge. That does not happen. Now coming to the important sections, important chapters, or what we call modules. Let's start with quantitative ability. Quantitative ability has 4 legs: arithmetic, algebra, modern maths, and geometry. I have 3 to 4 chapters in every module, in every leg of the maths curriculum, and I can assure that if you do these 16, 18, 20 chapters, okay, you're sure to get 16 questions known on the exam, given that there is also data interpretation, right? Apart from data interpretation, you'll get 15 to 17 questions common, definitely. For the arithmetic section, I'll name the topics in the order of their importance, okay, in that particular module per se. For arithmetic, you have averages, mixtures, alligation, that constitutes a major chunk of the question. You can expect at least 1-2 questions on this topic. Then you have interests, that I use the term interest and not CISI because of the fact that when we mention CISI, students tend to neglect annuity, okay, and annuity is a favorite topic of that. So annuity does come in to picture on the exam day. So interest, then you have time, speed and work, time, speed, distance, and time and work. That's an important chapter. You again get good amount of questions from them, 2, 3, 4 maybe questions from these two chapters. And lastly, you have partnership, profit and loss, and maybe percentages included. But I think when one does profit and loss, then the concepts of percentages are absorbed in that chapter. So I do not consider percentages as a different chapter and give way to more burden that I have to do one more chapter. So these are the 4 chapters. In algebra, and the first chapter that I'll name is the most, and I mean it, it's the most important chapter for QA for the XAT exam. It's functions and graphs. It's immensely important. It is impossible that you are appearing for a XAT paper and you do not have 2 to 3 questions of functions and graphs, along with the applications of functions and graphs in other questions of modern maths and other sections of algebra. A must. And you cannot sit for the paper, cannot sit for the XAT exam without knowing functions and graphs thoroughly. It is impossible. Don't even purport to do that mistake. It's a request, guys. Just don't do it. Next is quadratic equations. Number 3 is inequalities, modulus combined, and integral solutions combined with factor theorem. These 2 chapters are of equal importance, so I have just mentioned them together. So these are the 4 chapters. In modern maths, you have Venn diagrams. Students hardly get an exposure of 4 set Venn diagrams in CAT or other exams, but for that it is very important. And I don't know why suddenly many students have asked me, many people have asked me, and I've replied it to all of them that this time a 4 set Venn diagram is a must. And I don't know why I'm getting this feeling since long, but it will definitely turn up on the exam. Next is progressions. It includes arithmetic progression, geometric progression, harmonic progression, arithmetic mean, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. It's generally these mean wala chapter is generally a portion of arithmetic, but generally we do it while progressions given arithmetic, geometric. It has some relevance and can be easily finished off by doing these chapters. And the last one is probability. It is another serious chapter. You can expect at least 2 to 3 questions. That is a definite yes from probability. Definite surety of getting 2 to 3 questions. The next leg is geometry. The first topic I'd suggest that you all should do is coordinate geometry. In coordinate geometry, a student does everything. He does everything and nothing of it comes. A trivial segment that everyone ignores, and which is the most important one, is the circles equation in coordinate geometry. That is a must. It turned up in CAT this year, and I feel it will definitely turn up on that too. Please do that. I mean, do not do. There's no point trying to calculate the distance between 2 points or the distance between a line and a point or between 2 lines. Those are class 7-8 questions, and that knows that. You are applying to the 4th or 5th top B school in the country, XLRI. So definitely that team would not ask you a question that can be easily solved by class 9-10 student. They are not here to test those basics. They are definitely here to test those basics along with some difficult application of those basics. Definitely do that circles equation in coordinate geometry. And next you all should do the various theorems of triangles and circles. It is a complete must to do these. You can expect at least 3 to 4 questions, and plus the areas of the different parallelograms and quadrilateral that comes under this head. Because, and I'm sure you all will agree that the similarity and congruency topic that is learnt in triangles clearly throws up various theorems, and various questions can be easily concluded with the help of that similarity and congruency concept. So I literally suggest you just do that very thoroughly. Spend 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, maybe 10 hours. It's not an issue. But when we do it right. That's the entire focus. This is the entire chunk that you have to do. At least see, 17 to 18 questions of the exam. Along with this, if you do number system, it is assured that you're seeing at least 20 to 22 questions on the exam. Okay, number system is a huge topic. Maybe you take a day to revise number system. It's a huge topic. So I will not mention which part is important, which part is not. That cannot literally be said. I mean, I have not said the paper, nor has any coaching institute said it. So if anyone says that do the last 2 digits, do units digit, do cyclicity, do HCF, LCM, do trailing zeros, please do not listen to all that. Do everything of number system. It is a must that you do everything of number system if you are doing. Otherwise, no point doing it half-heartedly. If you do 5 topics of number system, you feel that you've done half, and in the exam, a question or 2 questions turn up from the other 5 topics. So your time and effort was invested in that 5 topics that gave you no benefit, and something else came up which again caused some irritation to your brain and took some minutes on your exam day trying to solve. There is no point, you didn't practice them. It's not that does not work like that. Okay, if you're doing time, speed and distance, you have to do circular rotations, you have to do relative speed, you have to do both and streams. If you're doing a chapter, you need to do it perfectly. That's the entire theme. You have to do it perfectly anyhow. Do less but do it complete. So that whatever questions you encounter from the chapters you've done, that is in your grip. It's completely in your grip and you can clearly do it, easily do it. Next, let's come to verbal ability section. The verbal ability section again divided into 2 parts. As NMAT and SNAP, that also has only a few questions asked on reading comprehension, maybe 8 to 10. A year it touched to 12 questions. Bracket is 8 to 10, 2 RCs or maybe 3 RCs at the max. 334 or 44 or 333 or 444 maximum. Or maybe they just ask 3 and 4 10 questions. It's not a big thing, you don't get surprised. Okay, so you do that. And sorry, I forgot to talk about the data interpretation section. I just do it after completing with verbal ability. This was the RC section, okay, in the verbal ability leg. In the other pure language section, you are tested on parajumbles, critical reasoning, clause passages, common question on the NMAT exam. You are showered with foreign words, idioms, vocabulary, error spotting or sentence correction as GMAT aspirants call it. These are the topics of verbal ability, pure language. You cannot say which topic is important, which topic is not. Every topic of language that I've mentioned, is important, and almost all the topics have relatively equal importance. Okay, plus minus 1 or 2 questions. That does not really change your preparation style or preparation effort and commitment required. So please do all these topics thoroughly. Sometimes you also ask that odd man out type question that was asked in CAT this year. Last year there was not. It was not asked. They also have analogies, but they are all covered in that vocabulary part. These odd man out is kind of covered in parajumble, because any sentence that is not in coherence with the other sentences, it's an odd man out sentence that requires parajumble skills. So that's it. I'll retrace my steps back and talk about data interpretation a bit. Data interpretation, again, unlike CAT, SAT does not shower much of an importance on data interpretation. 1/6 of the questions on the CAT exams is data interpretation. This time it was 1/5. Around 20 questions on the paper were from data interpretation. 5 sets came in 2016. Okay, but SAT generally asks 8 to 10 questions. The amount of questions they ask in RC. Okay. The only technique to sort data interpretation is, please do not let your ego come in between. Okay, there are, before starting off with any question, please see the options. Generally XAT has the habit of giving very close option: 57.56, 57.57, 57.60, 57.63. Guys, please, there is no point wasting time on those questions. There is literally no point. So only tip or suggestion that I can give, or rather two suggestions, is firstly, practice your CAT material as well as practice the advanced CAT material along with that past year paper DIs, so that you just get a feel of how DI is asked, what type of DI, what quality, what level, what depth, what intent, what kind of digging they do at the DI section. That's the number one thing that you should do before the exam. And on the exam day, before starting any question, just when you analyze the paper, spend 5-7 minutes, directly cancel the question that has options that are very close. You just do not try to attempt those questions. Even if you have time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes left, at the end you do not have anything to do. Please guys, there's no funny business of taking any chances. Please do not attempt those questions that have options meagerly very close. Understand? There's no point. So there's an iota of difference between the 5 options. There's no point at all attempting those questions. Please do not attempt those questions. That's the only piece of advice for data interpretation in the QA section. And the final leg of that is decision making. It is the most unique section on the decision making on the MBA entrance exam floor, because it's the only section that is related to what you will be doing 2.5-3 years hence. Through this section, decision making, logical reasoning, I won't spend time at all, because it is exactly what is asked in your other MBA entrance exams like SNAP, CAT. You have logical puzzles, you have symbols, odd man out, which figure will, comments, which missing figure in the series. You have those questions, 5, 7, 8 questions. But those are common. You have to do it anyway. Even even if I do not tell those topics, you have to do the entire logical reasoning material that you have gone through now till now. You have to go through it again. There's no leaving anything, because there's no defined type of questions. Unlike CAT, where they only ask logical puzzles. Okay, so you have to do logical reasoning, everything. But in decision making, it's the most unique section, because it tests your ethics, it tests your managerial abilities, it tests your pressure handling capacities, it tests your managerial attribute, it tests your professionalism, your thought process, your conduct, everything. I mean, as a manager, what you are required to do, as a manager, what you will be doing 2.5 years hence, or maybe 5 years hence, when you are a manager or a senior manager of a company, of an MNC. What would you be doing then? Taking decisions. That's the purpose of an MBA. So SAT is my favorite section actually. As soon as I see the paper last year, I jumped into this section because it was my favorite section, because it's the most logical one and actually just requires you to think freshly. So yeah, so it tests everything as a manager. So that's very logical and real life application section, applicative section, and I think it's a good section, and people should clearly attempt questions in this section. However, is one caveat involved, and that's, if you're not sure, please do not attempt. Do not, sometimes if you're not 100% sure, please do not attempt. There's no point, taking chances. In 2 days ago, the SNAP exam, okay, this question, whether the boat has submerged or not, okay. I was sure, most of the students were sure the boat has submerged. I did not have any conflict in my mind whether option C can also be the answer. Option A was the answer, and therefore I marked it clearly. And in decision making, you'll have many such situations, and that makes the section tricky and attempts less. No worries, make attempts less, but make attempts accurate and to the point and correct. That should be the thing. To just give a filler, I'll be uploading decision making modules, classes, and what should I say, the past papers, I'll solve it, I'll read it out, and provide my insight. But just to give a feeler, any act or any sentence that contradicts with ethics, honesty, gives in a smell of negative synergy, please exclude it out of the answer choices. And in this process of elimination would clearly, and one more thing, and anything that's out of the context, irrelevant, that would clearly help you to narrow down 2 or 3 choices. You'll be given 1 or 2 choices, and I'm sure you'll hit the right one if you have understood the entire passage. One more thing with decision making is that many times that paper setters have provided item sets on decision making, as in kind of logical puzzles type, as in if you analyze one data set, you'll be able to do 4 or 5 questions. Just imagine a paper with 31 would give you 92 percentile. If you get 5 or 6 marks within 15 minutes, do you realize the importance of this section? It's massive. It's really massive to do this section nicely and fair well in it. It's really important. This was my entire thing on the cutoff and call portion of the XAT paper. We have to attend these sections in 170 minutes, okay? So my take would be, and the sectional cutoff is 8 to 9 marks, okay? In every section. So what I suggest, divide the paper into 90 or maybe 120 minutes and 15 minutes. 170 minutes, 120 minutes, or 110 minutes, 10 minutes and 15 minutes. The first 10 minutes, you mark the questions, go through the entire paper. Maybe some people will say that I'm foolish saying that in an MBA entrance exam, how can we waste a single minute in your saying that spend 10 minutes on the analyzing the paper. But trust me guys, that is important. You see the entire paper, especially in quants and DI, mark the questions, mark those questions which you feel that you have done these type of questions, and if you invest 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you will be able to crack it easily. Okay, mark those questions, RC, figure out what questions are fact based, what are inference based, do them easily. In parajumbles, just try to see whether the topic introduced is familiar to you or not. If yes, then take the question and move on. Okay, so in those 10 minutes you have identified the questions that you need to do. The next 110 minutes or maybe 100 minutes equally divided in 33 or maybe 40 minutes, 35 minutes each, 105 minutes, whatever. I'm just not getting into specific time zones or time slots, but yeah, equally timed things, sections. Okay, jump into the section, attempt 8 to 9, 10 questions maybe, 90-95% accuracy, go to the next section. Again 30-35 minutes, 90-95% accuracy, move to the next section, 90-95% accuracy. You already attempted around 28 to 30 questions within the first 110-120 minutes. Now you are left with 50 minutes. And in those 50 minutes, jump into the section of your strength. For example, I'll directly jump into decision making. So first I'll jump into decision making. As soon as I completed 30 minutes, then I'll jump into verbal ability. Okay, and then if I have time left, which I don't think I'll be having, if anyone has time left, then jump into the quants section. So first 110-115 minutes, it doesn't matter, spend on attempting the cutoffs of the 3 sections, because it is a sectional, it has sectional cutoffs that, okay, and then the rest 50-55 minutes spend on the sections or areas of your strength. Okay, so attempting 8 to 10 questions in 35 minutes, it's not a big ask guys. In 3.5 minutes per question. In XAT in CAT you're nearly given not even 2 minutes to attend the entire section, an entire question. Okay, here you're given 3.5 minutes. Even if you take 4 minutes, not a big issue. Take 4 minutes, attempt 35-37, spend 35-37 minutes, attempt 10-11 questions and move on. So that's the thing. You attempted 30-33 questions, and in your favorite time slot, the rest 50 minutes, jump into your section, attempt more 10 questions and you're through. You don't have to attempt anything else. If you attempt 40 questions with a 90% accuracy, you're getting 36 and minus 1. That's how much? 35. And the questions you have not attempted, 1.5, you get less. Or maybe 2, 3, 32, you're getting 32, that's a 94 percentile score, man. I mean, you don't need to do anything. Okay, that's 94. I mean, you'll get surely a call from IMT Ghaziabad. At 95 percentile, you'll get a call from, XLRI, depending also upon your profile. You'll get a call from XAT Bhubaneswar, okay? You'll get a call from the programs of XLRI, okay? You'll get a call from SPGen for sure, okay? At 95 percentile, you'll get a call from SPGen. You'll get a call from IMI Delhi. I think it also accepts XAT scores. These are the basic colleges that accept that scores. We are through. The next 35 minutes, it's entirely, 2 or 5 minutes paper. So the next 35 minutes you will have to spend on GK and essay writing. GK can be done in 5 minutes. The best part with GK is you either know it or you don't know it. You don't have to, rack your brains. There's nothing logical about it. Spending 5 minutes on a question will not improve the probability of you taking the right answer. So no point, excuse me. You have to do it or you don't have to do it. From where I see, everyone has a query from where, GK from where. This year, SNAP, the Symbiosis Institute, clearly mentioned that 2015 and 2016 was the entire curriculum for GK, current affairs, okay. So at least 2015 and 16, you can prepare from the material that had been developed by SIBM Coffee. There is an event SIBM Coffee and SCHMRD Rookie. They have prepared both separate materials. So 2015 you have 2 set of materials and 2016 you again have 2 set of materials. So even if you do these 2 sets properly, okay, so definitely attempting 10 to 12 questions, I mean, it's not bad. In the past next 20 days only, it's not bad if you just do these things, these 4 things actually, and attempt 15 questions. That's good. Okay, and then there's essay writing. So essay writing, I'll not be uploading any videos. I'm sure many guidance and advices are available on essay writing. So let's hope for the best for that section. Okay, and lastly, the overall cutoff again would be around in the range of 30 to 35. Consider a bigger range, okay. That would get you calls. That would definitely get you calls under 95 percentile if you touch the higher mark of the range. It's there, okay. And I'm signing off right now, okay. And my personal mobile number is 98309 52035. Please call or leave me a text on WhatsApp if you have any other queries regarding the strategy or any other questions relating to the paper, okay. And I'll try my best to help you all, okay. And yeah.